Week 1 of the NFL season split right down the middle in Las Vegas. 16 games played, 8 underdogs covered, 8 favorites covered. And ironically, same thing with the totals. 8 games went over, 8 games stayed under. But if you're looking for an amazing trend, here it is. The straight-up winners went 11-5 against the spread in week number 1. That followed a preseason when they won an incredible 56-5-4 versus the odds makers. Hi guys, Al DeMarco here, General Manager and Lead Handicapper for the world's largest online sports handicapping community. And every weekend this fall, I'll be right here giving you free college and pro football winners. Last Sunday, hitting 2 out of 3 with my NFL freebies, giving you winners on the Cowboys and Eagles. More importantly, nailing my best bet of the entire weekend, a 15-unit lock on the Packers over the Bears, proving my record with those 15 dime plays to 12-1-1 over the past 2 seasons. Now I've got another 15 dimer going today. More on that though in just a moment. First, let's take a look at your first free pick. That one's going to be between Washington and St. Louis. You know, the Redskins last week only 272 yards in their loss to New York on the road. They're not going to have any problem moving the ball against the St. Louis defense, though, today. I mean, the Rams gave up 446 yards in a 28-0 loss at Seattle a week ago. And offensively, the Rams were pathetic. Only 247 total yards, 10 penalties. They shot themselves in the foot constantly. Only 2 for 12 on third down conversions as well. Last year when these two met, you know, I had a big free pick on the Rams in that game. It was a classic letdown situation. Washington was coming off an upset of Philadelphia. The Rams were a 13-point underdog looking for their first win. Boom, what happens? Rams win the game outright 19-17. So the Redskins have revenge. Redskins, very good defense. Good defense last year when they only gave up 19 points a game. Better defense this year with Albert Haynesworth now stuffing up the middle. Rams 1-7 ATS the last 8 years in the season's second game. Go ahead, lay the points with Washington. That's what I suggest. Next, we travel to Dallas where Jerry Jones and the Cowboys open their new stadium with a visit by their NFC East rivals, the Giants. You know, I gave you the Cowboys last week against Tampa, but Dallas's defense was shredded, especially on the ground. Cadillac Williams, Derek Ward, the Tampa Bay running backs, 174 yards rushing on 31 combined carries. Meanwhile, the Dallas defensive rush didn't get a pass rush on Byron Leftwich last week, and he's not exactly the most mobile of quarterbacks there in the backfield. You know, last year they led the NFL with 54 sacks, 0 against Tampa last week. Meanwhile, offensive line for the Cowboys, they had problems protecting Tony Romo last year, and that offensive line isn't much better this year. But the Giants' pass rush, already strong, even better with the return to health of all those injured players. New York, here is a great trend for you, one of the best, guys. The Giants have covered 19 of their last 23 road games over the past 2.5 years, regular and postseason combined, 19 out of 23. And take it another step further, they are on a 13-4 ATS run as a road dog. Meanwhile, they've also covered 5 of their last 7 visits to Dallas. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win this game outright. Nonetheless, if you have this game at 3.5, or excuse me, at 3, you go ahead and you buy up the half point to 3.5. So just in case Dallas wins this by a field goal, you get the cover with that extra half point. Meanwhile, the final free pick, it's going to be taking a look at the Titans-Texans game in Nashville. You know, this is the only home game in September for the Titans, but they get an extra 3 days rest after that loss on Thursday night in the season opener for the NFL at Pittsburgh. That game, they played great defensively, held the Steelers to 36 yards rushing. They hit Ben Roethlisberger 12 times in that contest. Good trend here for you. They are 11-3 ATS in the game following their last 14 straight-up losses. As for Houston, so much expected, good things expected from the Texans this year. They sucked last week against the Jets at home. They were dominated by New York in their home opener, outgained 462 to 183 in total yardage. Mark Sanchez, second coming of Joe Namath, they made him look like. 272 yards passing. Thomas Jones led a very strong Jets ground game with 107 yards rushing. And that Houston offense, everybody thought they'd score so many points. Matt Schaub, 166 yards passing. Steve Slayton, 17 yards rushing. They had 2 drives in the New York territory, both resulting in turnovers. So, guys, go ahead, lay the points with Tennessee in this game. And this is another situation. If you have 7.5, you go ahead and you buy the half point down as insurance. Complimentary plays, Washington, the Giants, and Tennessee. But let me remind you one thing about the free picks. They are not plays I'm releasing to my paying customers. They are good selections, they are quality selections, but they're not quite good enough to be premium releases. They're just slightly flawed. This week's best bet, however, that's where my own money's going. That's where I suggest your money should go. It's my 15-dime mismatch of the year, a game in which my side is going to roll by at least a touchdown or more. This is another 15-dime play, just like last Sunday's winner on the Packers. These are 15-dime plays that I am on a 12-1-1 run the last 2 years combined. Last year, of course, my 7th straight winning NFL and college football campaign, a season in which I went 26-13-2 with my NFL releases, closing on a 13-4 run, 220 dimes of net profit last year, 15-dime mismatch game of the year available right now, and I'll catch you again tomorrow right here with my Monday night action.